Today, you find yourselves equals, for you are all equally blessed. For I have the pride, the privilege, nay, the pleasure of introducing to you a knight sired by knights, a knight who can trace his lineage back beyond Charlemagne. Behold the rock, the hard place we walk in the garden of his turbulence. I give to you the seeker of serenity, the protector of Italian virginity, the enforcer of our Lord God, the one, the only.
My father was a drinker and a fiend.
Y'all, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight is an absolute banger. Watch it on the biggest or the smallest screen and it's a symbolic experience. Just like then, I still have criticisms about the movie, but just like then, I don't really care about those criticisms. Just like then, the story, the action, the visuals, getting to see Batman doing more Batman shit better than any Batman had ever done before. You know, serving as the world's greatest detective. The Snyder films really biffed that aspect. It all culminated in a movie that's only grown more esteemed with each passing year. And nestled at the core of the movie is that performance. You know the one I'm talking about. The Nolan versus incarnation of the Joker is played by Heath Ledger. Yeah, the guy from A Knight's Tale. The very same one. He will rock you. Right off your horse. Heath Ledger proved every naysayer wrong. As the Joker, Ledger delivered a performance we are still talking about today. It was so good that the guy won a posthumous Oscar after his sudden death in January 2008. And no sooner do I stop to appreciate not just the majesty of the movie, but the majesty of Heath Ledger's performance before I see those dates and put together the timeline faster than Batman. No Snyder, no Emmy. If the film was still being edited, did Heath get to see his performance before he passed? What might Heath Ledger have said about the success of his performance had he lived to see it? How did Christopher Nolan respond to Heath Ledger's ideas about how to present the character? And what was it like for Christopher Nolan to edit Heath Ledger's performance so soon in the wake of his death?
I first met him atop a mountain near Jerusalem, praying to God.
Master of the free companies, defender of his enormous manhood, a shining example of chivalry and champagne.
I thought my jokes were bad.
When Chris came to me, and I knew how Chris was, he'd already set up the world for me. I'd seen what world it was that I would be playing in, so I knew it was open for a fresh interpretation. And I also instantly kind of had something up my sleeve, which happened to be exactly what Chris was kind of looking for. We sat down and kind of shared ideas, and they were the same, and so we just went with it. It was one of those moments where I was asked if I would be interested in playing the Joker, and I knew 5 seconds later exactly how to play it. And I sat down with Chris and shared my thoughts with him, and they were identical to his, and we just kind of went from there. And I locked myself away for 6 weeks in a room, and I kind of came up with this creep. Walk around like a madman, and finding posture, finding stance. Finding his voice is very important, because when you find the voice, you find the breath within the voice. High levels of energy were needed, required every day. But it was incredibly enjoyable. But he's not just going to be scary. I mean, there are a few surprises there, I think. So that's why I'm in this monster machine of a movie, popcorn movie, if you will. Is it was purely a character choice. I can honestly say that, and so yeah, I haven't seen anything, nothing. They're so conscious of it, like they really don't want anyone to see anything. It's very secretive, and but just from what I've seen, like firsthand, and just from what I hear, I think it's going to be good.
He would do a voice modulation, and one of the times when we were face to face, he does this really, kind of Tom Waits-ish.
I have a growing level of popularity throughout the
intercontinental United States.
He's even asking us,
Enough from the clown.
the guys who are day players and everything else, what do you think?
See, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
Christopher Nolan offered brief but touching comments on the experience of editing Heath Ledger's performance of Joker so soon after Heath's death. Nolan said it was tremendously emotional right when he passed, having to go back in and look at him every day. But the truth is, I feel very lucky to have something productive to do, to have a performance that he was very, very proud of, and that he had entrusted to me to finish. When asked about which moment he most enjoyed watching in the editing bay, Nolan said, "There is a pretty amazing meeting of the minds between Batman and Joker in the middle of the film that we haven't wanted to show to people yet. We want to save that for the movie. It's very much an acting scene, but I would be lying if I said it was a purely verbal smackdown." A lot of the Joker came from Heath himself in conversations we had very early on, Nolan said of the character's ultra-violent anti-establishment ways. We talked about Alex in A Clockwork Orange. We talked about Johnny Rotten in Sid Vicious, having a younger approach to Joker, really tapping into what can be threatening about a guy like this. It seemed the youthful anarchy idea worked best. It is that fear of a teenager, the fear of the rebel in society that some of these people embody, and that gave us the idea of having a little bit of a punk aesthetic to it. Nolan described Gotham as the Joker's town. We're all just living in it. He said, "I felt like I really had to get on and finish Ledger's work, and I felt very fortunate to have something like that to get on with. The truth is, the performance is so iconic. It's so not Heath Ledger. It is the Joker. He just inhabits it. It's riveting to watch this incredible performance. I am very proud to work with him on this. I know he was very proud of the role, and I am very excited to show it to people. I think they're going to be blown away." End quote. At a New York Times sponsored discussion on July 16, 2008, Christopher Nolan revealed whether Heath Ledger saw his performance before his death. Nolan said, "He saw the IMAX prologue. We screened that for him in London," Nolan told a sold-out crowd.
I am to blame, and I can't complain from this point on from what happens from that movie. Because for me, what a success is, the only time that I'm alive and living and expressing and feeling and relating is when I'm on set, and that time between action and cut. And so that's the only thing that's really important, is how that experience is. And how that experience will affect my life and what I have to give from my life to that experience. And everything that happens after that is just irrelevant. It's kind of, if it's a success, great. If it's not, great. Fine. It affects you or it doesn't, but that shouldn't, in my mind, it shouldn't kind of dictate what your choice is. I just want to enjoy myself. I want to learn more. I want to work with good people, creatively and as people, really just good people.
Well, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us talking about Heath Ledger and his performance as the Joker. Hit that subscribe button. Or if you want, just go to the comments and talk some trash. It's all the same. I'm just glad you're here. Have a good rest of your day and hope something good happens for you.